Hello again. Hello, everyone. I hope that you're well. This is Nicole M. Louis, the social worker strategy mentor. I hope you can hear me okay. My eyes, as usual, are going to be darting up and down because I'm streaming everywhere. Today, I'm going to be talking about boundaries that will align you with your purpose. If that's something that's of interest to you, please stay tuned. I'm doing this. I had another topic I was going to do, but I wanted to really do this one after a session I had with one of my mentees around boundaries and purpose. And so it was really powerful. So I wanted to share what I discussed and how I helped her and assisted her today. So if you're watching, this is your first time watching, hello, my name's Nicole M. Louis. I'm the social worker strategy mentor. I help social workers start and scale their very own business to be sustainable, have more work-life balance, and just enjoy the job. And they do it on their terms. So as I said, I'm going to be talking about being able to implement boundaries, what it means to have boundaries really that align with your purpose and the importance of the two, how they connect with one another. And so tag somebody, share this, make sure that others are watching and listening to this live stream. So today when I met with one of my mentees, she came in kind of frazzled, a bit like just not ready for the session because it had been just like a crap week. Let's just keep it 100. It was a rubbish week for her. It was really stressful. She just felt deflated. She wasn't in the zone. She felt that the week had not been productive. She felt that she'd been pulled in so many directions. It was a very emotional week because she had friends, family, things going on with her pet, different things going on that was just pulling and drawing from her and stressing her out, really, basically. And so before we even start the session, this is just something that I always do. I always check in with my mentees. How's your week been? What's been happening? And I could just hear it in her voice that she was like, oh, and she wouldn't have been ready for the session to do what we were going to do. So there would have been 0 point. So we really just dived into that, and we had an entire session on just this around boundaries. And I released her early from the session before it completely finished. Before, I think we still had like 20 minutes or so to spare from the session, but I released her and gave her a task. And so by the end of it, she just felt so much better. She was tearful at the end because she was just be able to release and really talk through how she was feeling and what was going on. So I'm going to share with you some things that I shared with her, because I'm hoping that it would help any of you that may be feeling the same way, kind of at a loss of control, feeling deflated, having your purpose in mind of what you want to do, what you want to achieve, and whether that's a short or long term, but wherever you are in the moment, but maybe feeling a bit derailed because of other people's desires, what they're putting on you, their expectations, whatever that might be, maybe expectations that you're putting on yourself that may be unrealistic or stressing you out. You might be part and parcel of that, but mainly it's coming from other people. And so I just want to talk to that a little bit today and kind of help you think through what you can be doing as it pertains to boundaries and your purpose, because the two are aligned. So I'm going to invite you, if this is something that you'd like more support with and you'd like assistance from me to help you think about how you'll move forward with your goals, then DM me the word launcher, and I will be able to kind of tell you the next steps. I will send you a link. We can jump on a call together, book some time together, talk about how we're going to move forward and get you moving. So as I said, my mentee was just all over the place this morning, bless her. And it was just I could hear that the week had just been so much. It was just so much going on. But as I said, by the end of it, she was just feeling really much more relieved. And she said to me, nobody said to me, when I gave her like the instruction on what she needed to go and do, she was like, nobody has ever said to me, take some time for yourself, go and do this. And that just brought her to tears and made her feel like, I think, held, nurtured, but I think it also put her in a space where she was being listened to. And so what the kind of things that we were talking about was around the boundaries, around things that the expectations that people will put on you. And I'm talking about in the form of people, having to form boundaries with people, because even if it's situations usually occur through people. It's very rare that it's like a disaster that is out of anybody else's hands. It's usually people encroaching on your time, encroaching on you as a person, putting their expectations on you, wanting pieces of you that are not available, and you may have already told them that you're not available, or they may not even have discernment or have the the ability to pick up on the social cues that you're not available, or be considerate enough. Some people are just in their own zone, and some people don't have the capacity to think on that level and be thoughtful and be reflective about how much they're pulling from you. And so it means that you've got to be boundaried. And so one things that I spoke to her about was the fact that it will always stop with you, right? The boundaries, it always has to be you that creates the boundary. The buck will always stop with you. It doesn't matter whether you've told them before and they haven't listened. It just means your boundary, you have to have layers of boundaries that will actually ensure that people fall in line with what you are requesting from them. Yeah. So when we're talking about boundaries, we're talking about who comes into your space, who you have around you, how they act around you, yeah, what you allow them to do and not do, including how they speak to you, how they treat you. And also, I think how then because that in itself is going to play a huge role in how you are going to move forward in yourself. If you've not got the right people around you, these are the people that will likely hold you back or push you forward. They'll be doing one of those two things. They'll be pushing you forward towards your purpose and your goal, or they'll be pulling you backwards and keeping you stagnant. So having this in check and really understanding it is like vital if you're serious about getting to any portion of your goal. And that could literally just be the things that you've set yourself for the rest of this week. Today, Sunday, is a new week has started, and I'm sure that there are lots of things that you've got planned work-wise that you're likely going to achieve, because you've probably got somebody keeping you accountable, like your manager, if you're not working for yourself. But what other goals do you have? What other things that you have you set for yourself, such as maybe self-care, making sure that you're limiting your overtime? So I'm talking to my social workers, making sure you're limiting your overtime that you're working, perhaps making sure that you're spending time with family or your partner or your children, or carving out time for yourself that is outside of your self-care routine and maintenance. So it might be doing a particular thing for your hobby that you want to make sure that you're keeping on top of. Whatever that might be, what boundaries have you got in place for that realistically for this week coming, for you to really reach that goal? And I'm going to hazard a guess, and I'd like to know in the comments, please do tell me, put a 1 in the comments if you have even set any goals for yourself like that this week coming, or is it all work? Let's be realistic. 9 times out of 10, social workers don't really have much things on the agenda for themselves. And if they do, it might make up like 1%. Now, 1% is better than no percent, but if we're talking about you feeling fulfilled and not this time next week feeling like, oh, I had a crap week, it was just awful, I didn't really do anything for myself, I didn't hit the goals that I wanted to hit, it's usually because you're not doing a range of things that are actually filling you. And again, you're allowing people to get in the way of what you have set for yourself. So I want us to talk about some of the boundaries that you can put in place. And this is mainly because you have got to protect your space. You've got to protect your area around you, whether that's within your home. And for those of you that are living with somebody or people, it might be more difficult, but it's not impossible. Again, it's about having those boundaries and ensuring that, your routine merges with those boundaries so that you can actually go forward and implement it and make sure that other people aren't encroaching on your time. So some things that I shared today, again, was being clear about the people who are in your space. And it may mean you having to put limitations on how much access people have to you, i.e., you don't look at your phone before a certain time of the day. For me, my day starts at 10 a.m. in terms of my working day. and I do a power hour for certain things that I'm doing online. And then my work in terms of meetings and stuff would usually start from 11. So my day kind of starts at 11, essentially. But from 4 a.m. when I'm up all the way up until 10, that's my self-care routine and the things that I want to do. I have a sauna, I have a steam. So I'm limiting access that people have to me unless I really want to. I have for my phone, my notifications are off. I don't have notifications on my phone on any of my social media platforms. I have it on my email, but my email is my email is my work email, and so that is one where anything that I've signed up to, things that I really want to hear about, and depending on what it is, I might want it going to my work email, but I don't want to hear from them regularly. So once I've got what I needed, I'll unsubscribe and I will go look for them intentionally when I want something, or when I want to keep in touch, or when I want to reach out. So that way I can manage what's coming through my inbox. So I have notifications on my email, but because of the way I manage my email, where it literally is only work things, I don't have a load of emails and notifications popping up. It's very rare. It might be from my accountant. It might be for a meeting that I've already arranged and they've sent me a link, whatever it might be, but it's not a lot of stuff. So I don't have to worry about that. So the same for my WhatsApp. I don't have notifications, and I utilize the archive in my WhatsApp. So from people that you don't want to hear from all the time, put them in archive and keep the people that you need to hear from and that you're going to be in regular contact with in the main link, so that you're not getting bombarded with people sending you mail shots or cute things that they're sending to everyone else, or inspirational things, unless you really appreciate those kind of things. I don't necessarily, just because I just get them from left, right, and center. So I put a boundary in where I don't look at those things, right? And I keep them in archive. So you want to do some just very practical, simple things. That means your mind is not getting cluttered. As it relates to people, one of the other things that I mentioned to my mentee is ensuring that she's sharing with people what she expects of them, what she likes and what she doesn't like being done or said. And if they continue to move past that boundary that she has placed, then actually being able to go as far as blocking them if she needs to, and feeling okay with that. And actually implementing it, not being frightened to implement. Because one thing to say, yes, I can do it and I don't mind doing it, but then you got to do it. You actually have to follow through, because people will just think, okay, you're all talk and no action. And you never want that. You want it to be a thing where people take you seriously and they actually will follow through with whatever you've requested and asked. And they'll get to know very quickly. And so when you are very clear and boundary with people, they'll get to realize, okay, this is what she done last time. It might even come across as harsh, but you've got to do what you need to do to ensure that your space has been protected, your mindset has been protected, and you're not being derailed. What it meant for her this week was that her week was all over the place. She felt all at sea. She came to the session all at sea, so it meant we couldn't really proceed with the session. So that's put her back a week for her being able to move forward with independence. And that's okay. We will catch up and we'll do what needs to be done. But perhaps if she didn't have a mentor that was keeping her on track, it could be longer. And we all get there. We all get into that space where we have those weeks where it's can feel a bit disheveled. And boundaries is one of the main things that we identified that she would usually do, but she slipped on them. She got comfortable. And I think the final thing that I just want to leave with you, and that I also left with her, is that these things can happen for a reason, where, they're reminders that if you don't stay consistent and on task and commit to what you know needs to be done, this will be the consequence. It will completely unline you from what you're meant to be doing and where you're meant to be going. And it will derail you. And sometimes that setback can be greater than we expect or anticipated. And it just means that what we're trying to achieve and where we're trying to go is going to be impaired. And we're the only ones that suffer for it, because the people that have kind of impinged and encroached on our time are whistling along, doing what they're doing, and they're not disturbed because they're not operating, where we're operating. They're not operating in a place and space where we are. So they don't have the foresight, the reflection, the understanding, and we have to just allow them that. if they're not where they need to be or where we are, then that's okay. But it means that it puts a much more onus on us to always remember that we are in control and we are able to put in those boundaries. So I just want to share that with you and remind you of that. I'm sure these are things that you already know, but sometimes we all need reminding of these things. And so if this is something that you want some support with, you want the accountability, you want that assistance to be able to get realigned when you fall out of focus for your purpose and what you're meant to be doing and where you're meant to be going, where you're meant to be headed to, then DM me the word launcher and let's have a conversation. So I hope this was helpful, and I will be back again on Monday. No, not Monday, Tuesday at 6 p.m. British Summer Time, and I'm looking forward to our conversation then. Let me know if there's any content or the questions in particular that you have. You can either put it in the comments or DM me, and I will answer and look at every comment. So thank you for listening. IG and everywhere else, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Take care.